And none of that was recorded. No audio. All right, so let me start over. Let me turn this down. Oh my God, this camera is so bright. I just received the my little thing from China. This is the NTG 3.0 CarPlay control unit for a 221. So I have an NTG 3.0 because I have the big rectangle slot. If you have the SD card slot, then you will have the 3.5. I don't know if it's gonna work. I hope it's gonna work. They said it's gonna work. It should give me CarPlay. So let's start by removing the head unit, and you're gonna have your 2 screws behind these 2 spots. There's the T20s. This is probably one of the easiest head units to replace ever that Mercedes did. So I'm gonna go grab a tool and then get these things out, and then go ahead and get the T20s out of it. All right, so I'm gonna use a pick, and then I'm gonna pull these covers open. I'm gonna try. There we go. And you got your T20s exposed. Leg. Then you, frick, I forgot. I think you gotta take this lower part off here too. Hold up. All right, so they did include a trim tool, and then just pop that lower part off. Just pull it, get on the edge of it, and pull it straight back. 2 more T20s here. Pull it to the side. And go ahead and pull this out. That's the cover, and then way back here you'll have your T20s, 4 of them behind the silver ones. So I'm gonna need an extension for those. Okay, I took my screws out. Kitty. They just kind of chill in there, so just leave them there. And then you'll have in here. So what you have in here for your harness is pretty self-explanatory. You have the part where the body plugs into, and then where you plug it into the car. You have a USB which you can run down, which I'll probably run over here. I won't run to the center console. Not sure what you would use that for. And mine actually does not have a reverse camera, so I will be adding these cameras. So I'm gonna see if this is CAN controlled first, so if this knows that I'm putting it in reverse before, because then you have these wires here. So you have rear camera, 12 volts out, that'll power up the camera, and then you have reverse in. So that'll be, if you don't have CAN control, that'll be from the tail light, and then front camera out power. So, and then 360 ACC. I don't know if that's 360, if it's actual 360, or if it's just 2 cameras and they say that. So you have front camera in, video in, rear camera in. So I think 360 is just front and rear only. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plug this in. So this is what your connection is going to look like. You can actually see, I don't know if you just caught that, the most is blinking. So you're going to release the most from there. So you have your harness, but you're going to pull your most connection out of there. So you might need a pick, which I do have. I lost it. I lost my pick. But so what you do is you just pull this to the side, this very edge piece, and then your most will come out of there. I do not have, I'm trying to see if I can get this. I need like one of those head jigs here now. In the car is always weird, so you just use my nail and probably can get it. Alright, I can get it. So, what I'm gonna do here, capture this. You have this here, so you pull this very outer one to the side here, and then your most will come out. So now my most connection's out. And then these little purple things, they can come loose. They're there just to keep the kind of most cables from kinking, so you don't damage those. And so grab your harness. Let's see how I can position this camera here. Grab your harness here, and So this one, this one has the most connections. You're gonna go ahead and just take your most, slide it in there. That'll go into your head unit. With the tab facing down. And then you will have the one from the vehicle, which you'll have just a blank. You'll now have your blank most thing, so that doesn't matter. You just plug it in there. And then you will have your unit here, which will be this. You plug that in. Yeah, which is very hard to plug in. Make sure I'm not stressing any of these pins out here. Okay, that clicks in. And then also what they include with the kit is this piece, which goes from, so this is, sorry guys, I'm trying to, so you'll have this short one. So go ahead and undo this. And then you'll have your, take your other cable here. So this one just pulls out. This is your video cable. Kind of just weigh all that out there. Get your video. Take your other video. Plug that in here. And you plug this into here to your video out on the back of this. Sorry, this one says LVDS in. Plug that there. And then what you're gonna have to do, you have another, getting all complicated here. So you're gonna have your harness from here, which we just removed. That's to the screen. And then you'll have another harness here, which will be, that's my arm, but don't worry about it. I'll show you guys now. So now you need a place to, so this is the one from the vehicle. So this is into your video from your screen. You can just go ahead and plug that into here. Try to get these out of your way so you guys can see. Plug this, it only goes in one way, so we'll just plug this in there. And then you'll take that and plug that to LVDS out here. And then that. And then what else did they give me? So they did give me a microphone. So I believe there were a couple kits, but the ones I couldn't, this one doesn't have the, which I'm kind of bummed about. This one didn't have, for the overhead control panel, the bypass thing, or the little, whatever you want to call it. So you will have to run, there's a little hole here that says mic on the back of the head unit. I'm trying to capture here, guys. Ugh. Right, the black one that says mic. So that'll go there and you'll run it up your A-pillar here, and then you'll run it wherever, here or here. That just depends where you want to run it. And then it also has a Wi-Fi. So if you have a, I believe this is for if you have a SIM card. If you have a SIM card and you're running Wi-Fi, I'm assuming, from the head unit to make a hotspot for your car. And then, so now let's see, and now I'm curious to see if it just turns on or if the dip switches need to be set. So, see, I don't know if it said in the instructions. I don't know what 8 and 8 special is. So right now, all the dip switches are off. Let me go ahead and turn the ignition on and see what happens. See what we get here. So far, nothing. Well, I'm gonna have to figure this out. All right, sorry guys, I messed that up. So it really helps if you actually plug this in right. So you can actually flip this one upside down. So make sure you're in correctly on that. So I have these metal tabs on the top and then the cable going to the left. I have that upside down, and now I have video. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, try CarPlay. So I gotta get my phone, which, don't tell me I don't have my freaking phone with me. I do. Okay. I don't know what the dip switches are yet. I might have to message them because it just says C box label for dip switches, and it just says NTG 3.0 And on the back, it actually says 8 and 8 special. So I don't know what that means. I'm gonna email them and figure out what that is. Let me try and pair my phone real quick. All right, so it showed up as Ben's CarPlay in my phone, connected it, and here we are, wireless. Let me turn my headset off. I'll turn this one on. All right, here we go. I don't know if this color, it's not getting the color good, but it actually has surprisingly good color. Better than I thought. The camera isn't picking it up very good, but it's just like an OEM head unit. And there you go. So you have all your stuff here. This is super dope. Okay. So one complaint I did hear that people were saying is that when you do your climate, oh, this one actually shows up. So people were saying you weren't able to see, but it is. It's in Celsius. It's a little. Oh, okay. There we go. So let's see. Seems like if it disappears and then I do, no, there we go. It's showing up. Not really changing. There it goes. Oh, that works. Okay, so let's see. I turn it off. Yep, that shows up. Okay, now my steering wheel controls. I can't turn the steering wheel. Okay, steering wheel. And let me turn this off. And then this should work. Yeah, volume works. You don't get any emblem or anything shows up there. Phone, there are instructions here for long holding. So what do you got here? You got switch 1. Let me turn this on again, or let me turn some light on here. So you have switch 1, long press will take you home, so that'll be the tele nav. So if I hold this, it should take me back to, yeah, so this takes me back here to the OEM thing. And then if I long hold, takes me here. I can hear it switching in on my crotch here because that's where it is. Return and knob 3. I don't know. Long press 4 to hang up. So 4 is here. Long press to hang up, and answer and long press is Siri. Siri is not working. Let me see if I can get some music here, because that's what I really want. Okay, so if you move your controller to the left, it doesn't detect that. It does up and down, but you have to scroll to get over, and then you have to scroll all the way over. Okay, that's kind of obnoxious. Let's see, let me turn some music on. Okay, so this is pretty amazing. Having a 2008 with CarPlay. You do have to have aux, so I forgot to switch that. So if you long press go home, go to your audio, and then go to auxiliary. So I'm pretty sure you have to have auxiliary or else it won't work. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, yeah, so because if I have it on FM, you just hear static. But now, if I long hold this, nav and back, boom, clicks over, and I have my CarPlay. This is amazing. I have listened to this. Hold up. All right, so I just received the cameras for the front and rear of the CarPlay for the 221 here. So I got the rear one that should fit in the OEM location, and I got a front. I said the rear one that should fit in the trunk OEM location, and then I also got a front one because I don't know, I just want to geek out and do weird things like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, for the front camera, you're pretty limited here. So what I did was I removed this kick panel here. So, and then I took this can block connector off here. It comes off as one unit. The hood release and the OBD, and then the light. So right up here, it's hard to see, but up here is where all your wires come in from your front SAM. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the wires through the front SAM box. It's gonna be a little difficult. I might need a hanger or some sort of metal wire to reach it. Other than that, you gotta drill a hole or find a grommet, maybe for the hood release, which usually isn't any easier to the hood release to the SAM. I mean, it's right below it, so your best bet is to go in between the giant opening of the SAM and then just make sure you weather seal it when you run it into the box. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I gotta get access to that. Since I do have the S63, I have the ME in the way, so I will have to take the ME off and make some room here to undo this box just held down by Allen's on this model. So I'll have to do that. All right, so now that you have the cover off, I can actually see straight through into the floorboard right there. The only thing you have to make sure is when you run a wire in here that you seal it off with some sort of sealant. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna get the wire in. So you can trim the top of this, whatever, you just gotta make sure you put some butyl cord or silicone so you don't get any water in there. So I run the wire up from here, down here, and then just to the front bumper. Okay, I just have the wires loosely ran here for the front camera. Started running the rear camera. So it's gonna go up and over this kick panel here, the same one, driver's side. Strung it down here. I took this steel plate off. I'm gonna tuck it in here so I can tuck it under the B-pillar bottom section. Come around to the back, fished it through here, so I'm still gonna tuck it underneath here. I'm gonna come up through here, probably underneath here, some way, up and then through this hole. And then that hole, after you take the bottom, so you just pull up the seat bottom, and then the seat back has 3 holes, 1, 2, 3 bolts, 10 millimeters. Pull straight up on the seat, pull that out. And then I had to pull the seat, or the trunk bottom out, trunk bottom's out. And then you'll fish the wires through right over here by your PSC, your pump, your air pump for the vehicle. You could also come through here. This is where the center console storage area is in the rear seat. And there's your SAM. So I'm gonna come through here, fish it through all the way over here, and then up into the trunk. I went ahead and took this trim off here, which just had a couple screws and a couple plastic ones. And I'm going to pop this trim off. Just has the release tabs for plastics, like that. Push that to the side, and then let's put this. This is where all the rats were. Once upon a time, tried to go this way. And I'm just gonna run my reverse wire. That's freaking close. Barely reaches. And then I also have to take off, I have to get this off. So I have to pop this out, which is just these plastic releases. And then right here, up in here is where you're gonna put your stock camera. There's a blank spot. So let me go ahead and get to that. All right, there is a couple T20s here on either side of this, the handle release. So make sure you get the T20s from here. Pop it off from the outside. I already started here. I need 2 hands. Okay, and then here is your blank spot here. So I'm gonna take this off. There you go, just push it. Has this gasket on it. Hopefully I can transfer this gasket over. And then grab the new camera. Okie doke, I went ahead and transferred the gasket over. Now we're just gonna feed it through here. Get it in here. Let's see how we get this in here. Looks like you slide the back in first. There you go. Clips right in. And then we are also going to have to trim our camera spot out. So if we go this way, right here, this is already outlined. We're just gonna have to cut that out for the camera. So I'll go ahead and do that in a second. But let me verify my image and everything here. All right, I got it temporarily put in here because sometimes these come with a loop. So the front camera actually had 3 of these loops. I cut all 3. So your manual will say what it does. Sometimes it reverses the image, keeps the lines, blah, 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 blah. So let me make sure that it works. Should already be paired. I already wired it up here. So I should, when I go into reverse, should. There you go, we have a crappy image there. Very fisheye. So I'm not sure what that white wire does. It doesn't do lines. Go ahead and cut it and see what happens. Alright, I'm hoping it doesn't add lines because I don't want to put it back together. Damn it! It adds lines. Thought maybe it would change the image quality. The other one changed the image. The other one had, the front camera had 3, and it changed the image quality. This is a pretty shite image quality, but it gets the job done. So now you gotta twist those back together and son of a bitch, and get those lines out of here. All right, went ahead and ground that out. Obviously, apparently you don't have to do it that big, but that's how big I did it. The hole doesn't, it's way massive, but that works. Put the screws back on, and now the rest is just tucking everything away, making it look pretty. So I'll just zip tie these wires up here, down, and blah, 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 and get that all buttoned up. But we do have reverse and forward now with this CarPlay thing. So it should, cat. Let's boot up. One thing is it keeps booting back to the stock thing, at least until the CarPlay picks up. Phone's sitting on top of the car, but reverse. You got an image. Ooh, I don't love that image at all, and I hate how you can see the license plate. So it's very poor. Let me close the trunk. Let's see how actually terrible it is. All right. That's not too bad, I guess. It's a little lower than I would like. Does not need to be, I don't need to see the bumper that much. Maybe like to here would have been cool. Anyway, all right, so reverse. Pretty sweet, pretty crappy definition. Whatever compared to new car. Front, a little slow switch over, but there we are. Bam. Now I just need to route everything, which is gonna suck. How to clean all this up and make it all look pretty. All right, now we gotta stuff 10 pounds of caca in the back here. So that's a dilemma. You have the box to take care of and all of this wiring now. So what I'm going to do, I need to find a slot for it, but I think I'm gonna try to put this in first. I'm gonna take the head unit off, and then I'll plug these plugs in last. So let's go ahead and undo all that. What am I on? Manual focus? There we go. That wraps up the install for the M-Bucks head unit. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. M-Bucks CarPlay. So I'm dealing with M-Bucks today. Everything cleaned up, all my wires, bam, bam, ran. I gotta peel the stickums off this microphone here and stickums that. But as far as that, everything works. Reverse camera, everything works as it's supposed to. Reverse, boom, drive, boom, and then CarPlay works, obviously. Oh my God, I'm gonna get copyright strike. Turn it off. Yeah, so I hope this helps somebody. I can link the link down below. Who knows how long it'll last. It typically don't last long, but I will link the CarPlay thing down below. And they kind of just come and go as they please on eBay. So yeah, okay, cool. It's been real. Okay, bye.